Today, I want to show you how you can make your WeWeb mobile application security compliant following Apple's security measurements using the Despia plugin. It's super simple, so let's get started with it right now. So as you can see, inside of WeWeb, we already have our project, and we need to make sure that we have the Despia plugin installed through the WeWeb marketplace. The way you can check if you already have that set up is you go to Assets, you go to Library, you go on your library bookmark book symbol here, and we should have the Despia package installed. You can now close that, and you can now set this up nicely. So we're going to click on Add, we're going to go on Assets, and now we're going to see Despia Provider, Despia Native. I'm going to drop the Despia plugin component on the top of the page. You can do this with a new page or an existing page. Super simple to add. And now here's the thing. This component now exposes a bunch of variables that give us access to the native system data. So let's just show this data by adding a text element here and make always sure that it's on the top of the page, so you can always make sure that the page is set up for native functionalities. So now we can go on text.en here and we can just set this value. And now as you can see, if we go to the variable section here, you see that we have this variable tracking disabled. And this will tell us if tracking is disabled. By default, tracking is not disabled, meaning the default is you can track the user. Now here's the thing. We want to adjust the way the code runs based on if tracking is enabled or not. So here's what we can do. We can go inside of this application and we can do an on-page load event, for example. So here's what we're going to do. We can go to this page here, or we could technically even do no, this would be on execution, right? So that is not the right way to do it, actually. We would do on page load event. That is the best one. Sometimes a little bit, it's a little bit of an effort to set up because you would have to set this up for every page that you want to track the user on. But there you go. So let's go on this home page here and let's set up trigger page workflows, right? And we can go new, and now we can do page load. We have on app load, on page unload, on app load. We're just going to do probably on app load because we're on a multi-page application here. But you can adjust this based on how you want to set that up. And let's go add an action. And then we're going to do inside of here, and we're going to do an if else, so a true false split. And now here's the thing, we're going to go inside of here, and the condition will be coming from this component here that will be tracking disabled, right? Tracking disabled. So then I'm going to call this tracking disabled. Disabled. Perfect. So now if tracking disabled is true, which tracking disabled is false, so if it's false, we can track the user, but if it's true, we can track the user. So I'm just going to go to this action if tracking disabled is true, and I'm just going to run like a little JavaScript, custom JavaScript, to set an alert. And this alert will be, I cannot track you. Right? I'm just going to do I cannot track you. Right? So we can just kind of like see a pop-up happening if we can track the user or not. And then in here, on this action, I can also do, I will actually leave that because we don't need a false, right? So this is how you set this up. On app load, you can check if the tracking is disabled. If the tracking is disabled, meaning you can't track the user, you can run some additional code saying I cannot track you, right? And then in here, on this false, you would run the code to track the user. So let's just add just a placeholder here. Let's just create like an empty code block or so. Let's call this track user. And then in here, I'm just going to do an alert. I am seeing you. I am seeing you. Perfect. So this is tracking the user. If this is enabled false, which is the default, as you can see, it's false. We will track the user, not tark, it's track. And then on this other one here is we can track the user. Usually we wouldn't run anything inside of here that would run if we can't track them. We may set a variable for permission for submit forms or something like this. So now we can close it. And now we can deploy the application. The beautiful thing is even those native features when it comes to tracking, they're fully over the air, meaning you don't have to go to the Despia editor and republish your app. You don't have to go through App Store approval or Play Store approval. You just publish it on WeWeb. We got updates over the air. You don't have to rebuild it. You just open the application again and you and all of your users will have the latest version. So you can update important things like this to stay compliant when it comes to security without having to have users re-download and update the application. Pretty handy. So let's open the application and let's see what happens if we are being tracked or not. And now you can see it's saying I am seeing you because we're tracking the user, and you see tracking disabled is false. Now what happens if I close the application and go to the app settings and say allow tracking? No, I will make that false. We are now not allowing tracking. So let's open the application again. And now I cannot track you, and tracking disabled will be true. As you can see, now we are running this conditional logic on app load that will allow us to then on, tracking disabled false, run Google Analytics, post hoc, whatever. And if they don't allow us, explicitly go to the settings and say, don't track us. We're just not going to run that code that would track the user. And this is how easy you can add security compliance to follow Apple's guidelines, because Apple is very looking at security, and you can be compliant in just 5 minutes thanks to the Despia plugin. And that's how simple that is inside of WeWeb with Despia. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Take care.